The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
Well, welcome to Spindle City Straight Talk. I'm Chip.
And I'm CJ.
And it's Friday in the Riz. And as the new normal is, CJ will start with our COVID virus report.
Oh, I really don't want to. Obviously, I have to, but I really don't want to.
Well, Captain COVID.
Yep, Captain COVID. What a name, huh? I'm telling you. Well, it was interesting because yesterday we had, again, some more bad news, as the mayor like to put it. We had 28 new cases of COVID-19 in Fall River, bringing the total to 1,391. We've been notified of 4 new fatalities, bringing the total to 59. Bristol County had 7,508, and Massachusetts total was 102,063. So there were your counts. But
4 new fatalities.
4 new fatalities.
4 new fatalities.
Yep. So we're up to 59 now. And, you know, they're all saying that we're going in the right direction in Massachusetts. But maybe Massachusetts might be going in the right direction, but I'm not sure about Fall River. And the thing is that we're looking at what's going on across the country, and we're seeing states that have opened up their communities and are now seeing drastic increases in counts. Massachusetts has been very conservative on reopening. And even with these protests that we've had, many people were wearing masks and were trying to maintain social distancing. So I'm not sure if that's going to contribute. But one of the things that I got into a conversation about yesterday with somebody was the fact that Asia has been wearing masks for years.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, whenever you saw people coming off the planes from Japan, from China, you know, from Taiwan, from Hong Kong, they were all wearing masks. They've been wearing masks for years, yet the COVID virus decimated their countries. So what good is the mask? That was the argument that we kept getting. And I kept saying, well, it's not to protect you, it's to protect others. And they're like, but the mask is bothersome to me. And, you know, it's bothersome to me as well. But you need the right mask. And if you find the right mask, you'll be fine. But again, a good question to ask. And, you know, I wish I had Dr. Fauci's phone number, because I'd like to call him and say, what good are masks when you have a country and a whole continent that has been using masks for decades, for years and years, and they still got decimated by the virus? Try to explain that to me.
Yeah, well, you know it. I know it's rhetorical from you, CJ, because you know that they need a lot more data, a lot more research on this virus. And obviously, that's something they have to factor in because, as you said, I mean, if you look at video in Japan 10 years ago, 15 years ago, you'd see people getting off the subway, off public transportation, walking around the streets of Tokyo with masks on. They've used masks for years, and many of them use it, not just a small percentage. I'd say you see about at least 1/3 of the people out there when they're in high densely populated areas, and they have a lot of close proximity with people, they use masks, and obviously it didn't do much good for them either. So I don't know. They're going to have to find out how this thing. Yeah, maybe you can absorb it. I don't know. Who knows? But there's so much out there. All we can do is try to obviously keep your distance, not get go into any areas, and wash your hands basically, and try to keep your distance, because as you said, ironically enough, the mask isn't protecting you at all. That mask isn't there for your protection. It's for the protection of other people to stop the spread. So you have to
Exactly. And hopefully people are paying attention to that. And I would like to see, you know, that people are using them more and they're maintaining the social distancing. I'm finding, and I know you're a biker, Chip, but I'm finding that the groups of bikers are the highest um, violators of social distancing and using masks. And I'm not sure why, but these weekend groups, these weekend rides, a lot of people aren't wearing masks, and when they get to their destination or at their origination point, they congregate, and we're going to have to look at that group potentially as an individual group of victims.
Yeah, because a lot of these rides are charity rides, and they are for a good cause. Sometimes every year there are numerous charity rides, and there are get-together rides at various clubs. And it's hard on a motorcycle because you're separating when you're driving, but then when you stop, that's when all the they're going to socialize to a degree. And who knows? They might not. They're not going to keep 6 feet all the time. They're also going to probably touch somebody else's bike or something that they touched. And when you get in large groups, it's really hard. As even if you're trying to not at least come into contact with something or someone, and because of that group, it's not like when you're sitting in a car driving somewhere and you're talking in the car. Although some of these bikers have got radio communication, but most of the time on those charity rides, it's just a whole bunch of bikes following each other to a specified destination where they socialize. There's normally, entertainment and food as part of the fee that goes to charity. So it's a culture, motorcyclists that have they have a different subculture, and they are prone to being in closer proximity. So as you said, you're going to have to look at that, just like the thing we had with certain groups culturally. We know that the Hispanic groups congregate a lot for gatherings. Their family is a big thing to the Latin cultures, and they congregate together a lot. And we even had reports of people having large parties at the height of this. So all these things, all we can do is kind of say, listen, try to, even if you go to one of these things, kind of separate yourself, and then make sure you take a full body wash when you come home.
Yeah. Well, while we're on this socializing and subcultures, I think protesters are a subculture. And luckily here in Fall River, the majority of them were wearing masks. They were civil, they were responsible, and they were peaceful. Although we had businesses along Pleasant Street, which were all boarded up. Now, when you look at the rioting that went on in other cities and towns, and this didn't happen in Fall River, but it happened in places like Brockton and Boston and Providence, those people weren't wearing masks. Those people weren't social distancing. Those people were creating more problems. And again, those are agitators. I don't want to call them protesters. I want to call them agitators. They were looking to create that problem. Now, there were reports of bricks being laid around the city of Fall River, which I was not able to confirm. There were reports of people who were saying that they were looking to cause problems. I do know that I personally read a couple of postings on Facebook where they said what to do if you are hit with tear gas. They posted their lawyer's number. They gave them all the solutions: water, vinegar for their masks, etc. And that right there to me said they're looking for a problem. When they're giving them the solutions to some of the attacks and I don't want to call them attacks, but some of the responses that the Fall River Police Department would have to use, I think that that's speaking volumes to people on the potential for violence. I'm just happy that there was no violence that occurred yesterday. The alleged protest that was supposed to happen on Saturday has been postponed. Initially, it was being announced as being canceled, but it's now being postponed. So we'll have to see what happens with that. The thing that bothered me in some respects was the fact that the mayor of Fall River participated in these protests, and the Fall River Police Department participated in these protests. They all took a knee. I think that they needed to maintain their authoritarian appearance and their appearance of law and order by joining with the protesters. That to me takes away some of your what's the word I'm looking for? Your accountability and your authority, and that to me was a problem. The fact that the mayor would join these protests, this is the first time either. There are pictures flowing all over Facebook of him taking a knee in front of Government Center. That also takes away from your authority, Mr. Mayor. I understand you're trying to support this, and I think many of us are. We believe that all lives matter. I'm not going to say just Black lives matter. All lives matter. But I think that the protests that are happening are valid. I think that there needs to be a more responsible way of doing them. Because remember, we're affecting our economy even further when we have to take businesses and have them close down and board up their businesses because they're not going to be able to make any more money or be able to protect their businesses effectively. And when they're already fighting a losing battle against the COVID virus and that crisis, this doesn't help.
Well, let me tell you something. You just hit a point that I'm going to really get, go off now because this.
Hence why I brought it up.
this country has lost its compass, its moral compass. We have a government, and a government that is supposed to be a government of laws. Protesters have every right to protest. But people do not have the right to be criminals, to destroy property, to murder people. There are reports of, I did have someone say that they did show it on Fox. I did not see it. But that they broke into an animal shelter in New York and killed all the animals. And they had a video of one of these psychopaths choking a puppy to death. And in Fall River, we had an 82-year-old man assaulted by a 27-year-old thug or pseudo-thug, because let him assault somebody who can defend themselves, not an 82-year-old, because he was holding a Trump sign. We've lost our sight. Our government has become apologists, not a government. The Boston, the Providence police were apologizing. The police chiefs are apologizing. The mayors are apologizing. Everybody's taking a knee. You're not taking a knee out of respect. They want you to kneel before them because big anarchy has now taken over our country. I will take a knee for no one because I will stand with you if I believe in your cause. I will sit in with you like Rosa Parks, but I will kneel before no one because I believe in Emiliano Zapata. I would rather die on my feet than live on my knees. We are bowing down to anarchists and apologizing. We don't need to apologize. We're allowing them their First Amendment. As a matter of fact, I am going to be at a protest Sunday. A protest in support of Charlie Chase, the 82-year-old who was assaulted. We're going to get a group up there and hold signs. I'm going to hold a sign, not for Trump, but for the First Amendment. And for the preamble to the Constitution, that we all have a right to freedom of expression. We all have the right to protest, but none of us has the right to be an anarchist. We're allowing our government to be overthrown by these weak-kneed wimps that call themselves legislators. officers, they knelt because they probably were worried about losing their job if they didn't kneel before their superiors, because this country's out of control. Pay attention, people. At one of these rallies, they had a man walk up to the mic talking about how he wanted justice for all, wearing a T-shirt that said, "Kill your masters." Do you really believe that he wanted peaceful protests wearing a T-shirt that said, "Kill your masters"? I don't think so. You can stand with those people on your off-duty time, and as you said, CJ, you are 100% right. The police are not there to support. They're there to ensure that their First Amendment rights are granted peacefully. Not there to kneel, not there to hold hands and sing kumbaya, not there to placate people. They're there in their capacity. When they're off duty, they can take off their uniform and stand there. I will go Saturday to the North End and stand there with the people in support of an 82-year-old man who was assaulted by one of these supposedly left-wing, we're going to protect everybody except somebody with a different opinion than ours, thugs. And it's a travesty. This country is gone. We're toast if this continues. We're kissing the anarchist butts. We can't wear riot gear because we'll offend them. We all got to kneel with them. We all got to apologize to them. Apologize for what? You get your First Amendment rights. I don't expect the police, if they show up on Saturday, to kneel. I don't expect them to agree or disagree when they're in that capacity. I expect them to do what they were commissioned to do. Protect law and order. Protect public safety. This is bullshit of the highest order. This is un-American. That's what it is. It's un-American. It's nothing more than partisan politics. They want to keep this crap going until the election to affect an election. And to allow people to kill people, to destroy businesses, and then apologize. I'm not saying you should allow police to push people or do anything. There's a 75-year-old guy got pushed and cracked his head. Okay, deal with the police officers. But 90% of the police officers in this nation go to work every day with the prospect of not coming home and do their job. They protect you and I. And to lump them all in and have signs that you don't care, that you don't care about anything about the police, and to have the audacity, the unmitigated gall to suggest that we disband the police. Sure, let's have anarchy. Open the borders, get rid of the police, get rid of ICE, and let this country be invaded. And then we'll have this shit every day. Because every business will get looted. Because none of them come here to work. Because what's the flat screen TV got to do with George Floyd? And that's a disgrace to his memory. I don't agree with what was done with him. I don't think virtually you can find anybody that can say that what we've seen so far, that was reprehensible. But I can tell you one thing. Apologizing and trying to minimize anarchy is anti-American, and shame on these libtard medias. All right, that's it. I'm done with my rant because I am bullshit.
Well, it's interesting because again, when we look at what people are doing in public now because of all of these protests, you got Drew Brees who said he would never take a knee, now backtracking on all of that, and you said it, stand up for what you said and stand by it. You didn't say you were against, people of color. You didn't say you were against the black community. You just said that you got to respect the flag. And I firmly believe we need to respect the flag and respect our country.
Yeah, and shame on Drew Brees for worrying about his paycheck more than his own integrity and his moral character and his moral compass. You have every right not to take a knee. Just like those people have a right, as much as it's disgusting, to do it. But to canonize who are anarchists as some kind of revolutionaries is ridiculous. And I will give them a quote from a black man, one of the most famous black men in the history of the 20th century, a man who was a radical racist, anti-white for years, Malcolm X. We all know who Malcolm X was. He was part of the Nation of Islam and he was one of the most radical black separatists we had in that era. But then he went on a pilgrimage to Mecca because he was a Muslim, a black Muslim. And when he came back from that pilgrimage, he changed his opinion. And he said, I went to Mecca and I saw blue-eyed, blonde-haired white Muslims worshiping alongside of me. And I realized that we can't judge a person by the color of their skin. And when he began to change like that, the Nation of Islam and the Elijah Muhammad had him killed. They assassinated him because he realized that what he was preaching was wrong. Hate based on any kind of label you put on someone. And his quote, which I think is one of the greatest quotes ever given, and a lot of people don't look at Malcolm X because they just think he was a radical, but he said a lot of things that made sense. But the quote is, and I'm paraphrasing because I don't have it in front of me, but I know it fairly well. He said, I am for truth no matter who tells it. And I am for justice no matter who it's for or against. And that's what we should be in this country. We should be for the truth, regardless of who it's for, whether it fits your narrative or my narrative. We have the freedom to not agree. We have the freedom, and Charlie Chase had the right to stand at the North End with a Trump sign. And you may be the biggest Biden supporter and the most avid Trump hater in the world, but he has a right to do it. He has a right to support anybody he wants and have any opinion he wants without fear of retaliation from thugs, especially thugs who say that their opinion has to fundamentally be protected by everyone. Otherwise, we're the racists, we're the xenophobes, we're the misogynists, we're every other label you can stick on us, because the only people entitled to an opinion are them. And that's not true. And for an 82-year-old man to be assaulted by a 27-year-old, and then they let him out. Him out.
Yeah, his name is Aiden Courtwright, and he had a dangerousness hearing yesterday, and they found him to be not dangerous, and he was ordered to stay away from the victim, any witnesses, and to stay away from political postings on Facebook. So it's going to be interesting to see if that actually happens.
He kicked an 82-year-old man, threw him to the ground and kicked an 82-year-old man. Not dangerous. You know who should be thrown in jail? That judge. That's who should be thrown in jail. He's not dangerous, but I also heard as part of that report that he was told to turn in his guns. He's got guns, but he's not dangerous. He beat up an 82-year-old man. And he owns guns. Oh, yeah, he's a productive citizen for sure. Everybody stops and beats up 82-year-old men because they have a sign that supports someone they don't support. It's like the people who choke the puppy. You're going to tell me they're not psychopaths? Psychopathic behavior is always a precursor to knowing someone's a psychopath, as they normally abuse animals when they're younger.
Yes, that's true.
So, as Gandhi said, you judge a society by the way it treats its elderly and its animals. And so far, we've flunked. So I am for truth, no matter who tells it. And I am for justice, no matter who it's for or against. And we are losing our nation to anarchists and politicians. And we have to stand up. And I think that the latest poll said 2-1 in the United States support using the National Guard. So you know something? Stop the insanity. Stop this. You want to demonstrate life. What have we always done in this program, CJ? We'll sign anybody's nomination paper.
That's right.
I don't care if I never give you a vote till hell freezes over. But I'll defend your right to run. I'll listen to what you got to say, and I may vehemently disagree with what you say, but I will defend your right because this is America.
That's it. That's it.
This is what all these millions of men who died and women who died for this nation died for, to prevent this country from becoming anarchy. This is not government anymore. We have anarchy. When the anarchists are telling the government what to do, and the government is walking on eggs and kneeling before them, we got problems.
Yes, we do. And you know what? You know, the big question I have is, who's paying for all that protection? Who's paying for those police? Who's paying for that Department of Correction detail? Who's paying for this National Guard? Who is? We, the taxpayer. We, the taxpayer. Maybe if they had these protesters pay for these systems, we would have peaceful protests all the time. Maybe if they had to pay for it. But again, that would be racist.
Yeah, well, as we said, look, that's not one person I've heard to condemn their right to protest. They've been protesting since Trump got elected. And, what saddens me is that we've lost the perspective and an opportunity, number one, to, respect the life that was taken, show it the respect it deserves, make it the centerpiece of these demonstrations, and also use it to foster change in the way the police are looked at. And we've had, it's not like that hasn't been things done. There have been communities that have civilian oversight boards that review all the complaints. And look, this only shows that the job isn't done. But when you begin to just use this as a smokescreen so you can break into Target and Apple and come out with televisions and stuff, and then the government, not only do they condone it, right? They de facto condone it because every mainstream media, CNN and NBC, they're making excuses. They're looking for rationalizations for what. Oh, they're angry, my butt. Running at the Target and walking out of there with a 60-inch TV has got nothing to do with George Floyd or anything about police brutality or anything else. It's got to do with you being a thief, a criminal.
That's it. That's it. Hey, and the thing is you were talking about civilian oversight, and we only got 1 minute left. So, Somerville, the city of Somerville, is implementing 10 promises, including a civilian oversight committee that they're going to remove a uniformed officer from that position. So it's going to be interesting to see. Hey, everyone, thanks for watching. We enjoy your viewership. We enjoy you to support us. And please remember, stay safe and stay angry.